We got shots fired. It sounded like an automatic firearm.
Copy, code red. Shots fired.
We have an active shooter. We have an active shooter inside the warehouse.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy, FDE. Welcome to Shots Fired, episode 54. I am joined by, as always, Death Milberg and Tactical Dave.
What up?
Today we have a bit of a three-fer McD-fer, if you may.
Pretty sure you made that up.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I got it somewhere off of the internet.
It's okay when it's in a three-way.
I'm just making sure the podcast shit's actually recording this time. Not to, let you guys know what happens when we're off camera, but yeah, this is the fourth time
We're
we've done
super
this.
good at this.
This is actually episode 54 and 3/8.
Yeah, we're getting there. So real quick before we get into what we're going to talk about today, which let me tell you,
It's a lot.
Is a lot. We do need to do a wrap up on the supermarket shooting or the supermarket shooting.
What was it? King Soup.
King
Soup.
Super.
Yeah, King
Supers.
The wrap up for that was it was completely black-sided by the media. There's no more information available other than what we originally told you.
Straight vanished.
And it seems to not be a thing anymore.
Nope.
So, yep.
Did it have something to do with the fact that the shooter came out as a Syrian refugee at a kosher market?
Kosher market? Was it? Kosher?
Yeah.
Is that normally of the? That might be of the
Jewish
the
persuasion?
Jewish faith.
Yes.
Okay. So
Something along the lines of, I don't know, what would be, I would think, considered maybe a terrorist attack?
Could be.
That's probably a new
You mean-
thing that Syrians and Israelis.
You mean like
Yeah, you're right.
probably
That's
new.
got to be new.
It's probably new.
Yeah,
religiously
new.
motivated,
Yeah.
perhaps?
Yeah.
Not to go out on a ledge.
No.
Okay.
I've heard such things between those two groups happening before.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Some in the
Yeah,
movies.
allegedly.
Anyway, moving on, because that shit's boring. Right?
You guys know I was in Syria, right?
Really?
Oh, allegedly.
Allegedly?
For like 45 minutes.
Oh,
Whoops.
In an unannounced year, so it can't be narrowed down. There's this thing called Blue Force Tracker. There's a good delay on it with the satellite. And Then when it
45-minute delay?
yeah. About when it caught up, we be not in Iraq anymore. Whoops.
see if Syria just had a wall, you couldn't have done that. But that's
Yeah,
all right.
it's
See,
nothing
goddamn right.
nothing like starting an international incident.
I mean, just
Only if you get caught.
Yeah.
right.
I have a buddy that started an international incident on a German Air Force base when he crashed his BMW through the fence.
That'll do it.
That's an international
That'll do it.
incident.
They like
That'll
that.
do it,
They
yeah.
enjoy
He
that.
got super upset.
Yeah.
Germans don't like.
They don't fuck around.
They don't have the greatest sense of humor.
They have literally no sense of humor.
No, they do not.
All right, so what's the first thing you want to talk about? We got some hotness right now.
Let's see. Let's start with the quick and work our way down. First, sad to announce the passing of Mr. DMX. Finally, has found where the hood is at, and he is resting there peacefully.
That's in the heart.
That was sad to hear.
But did he ever find his dogs?
No, he is still searching to this day in heaven.
Damn.
Yeah,
Well, all dogs go to heaven, so DMX, good luck, bro. Hopefully you find him.
damn
Yeah,
right.
you definitely got most of us through like college or the 90s or
Yeah,
Yes.
fucking Rough
Yes.
Riders Anthem
Absolutely.
was like
Yes.
my thing. Stop. Drop.
Okay, no, don't
Copyright
say,
claims
please
in the
don't.
shop. Sorry. Sorry.
Moving on.
Moving on again.
I would say I'd say the next quick one would be let's do Chicago.
Okay, so-
You sure you don't want to do Officer Cupcake and the magical taser?
Okay, we can.
Because that's real quick. Literally, real quick.
So that's probably the older. Well, technically, it's not the older one, but it's in the news cycle. The Duante Wright is the Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. That's the one with Officer Tim Potter, I believe.
What, like 10 miles from where?
Yeah, I mean it's all within
spitting distance, damn near
It's
from.
it's a
George
suburb
Floyd.
of Minnesota, I'm sure,
Yeah.
or Minneapolis.
So just like don't
cities.
go to Minnesota, Minneapolis.
Yeah,
They shoot people there. I
yeah.
always thought it was Chicago, but apparently in Minnesota, Minneapolis.
This
do
is
it
what
too.
happens when you lock up Kenosha Kyle. Just saying.
Wow, that's a hot, spicy one.
Too spicy.
Too spicy.
Too spicy.
All right, so we got the article up here. You guys should be able to see it on your screen
Yep.
over there if I've done everything correctly. So to give you guys a brief 180 on this.
Not much to get into.
Not much to get into here. It's the article kind of says it all. We can play the video for you, and you guys can hear it now because I did some shit with the audio, but they can hear it too. So that's always fun. Here's the little video that we'll bust out real quick.
I actually haven't seen this, by the way.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, here we go. Are you ready? Because here we go.
You've been watching a news conference there following the fatal police shooting of a black man, Dante Wright, who was sitting in his vehicle at the time. Released body cam video during this news conference, John, which we've had a chance to watch off camera. It was graphic indeed, as the police chief there warned before playing it for the room of reporters there. You hear the female officer described as a very senior officer, not named in that news conference, yelling taser, taser. The police chief described what they saw as an accidental shooting, implying that and this is the video that was shown during that. We have edited out the actual shooting of that man once he sits down in the car. Let's see if you can hear.
So you can see right here when the female takes over, he feels that loosening in the grip. He's like, nope. Taser, taser, taser.
Okay, and that's where the
Definitely
audio
not
cuts
taser.
out, John. She was yelling taser, taser. The police chief said it appears to be accidental.
One of the new lethal tasers.
So yeah, we'll stop it right there. But for the long short of it,
As you guys saw in the video, basically started out as a normal, everyday traffic stop.
From what I understand, she was actually training a rookie.
Yeah.
Wow.
So a little bit of things about her that I found is that she's been on the force for 26 years. She is a field training officer. She had all sorts of other positions and things. I think at one point she was a part of the board or something for the police union there. And evidently she's been around. She's dealt with officer-involved shootings before, not been the shooter, but kind of been the one that says, hey, you got to go here, you go here. This is how things need to go down. Everything by the book. What do you think happened? Like, I don't know.
So, if I can cover something real quick, because
Yeah.
I kind of stopped it there intentionally, you can see the difference between a taser and a Glock.
Clearly. I mean,
Just so you guys know, that yellow thing is a taser. The back of it looks completely different than a Glock handgun.
Yeah. And that she's carrying an X26, which is probably the most common
Absolutely.
cop taser.
And they
that's
feel
around.
different. They're weighted
they're
different.
specifically done so to not get confused with your firearm.
It's on a completely different side of your body usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was carrying it in a. I believe it. They said that the grip was facing the same way, so it was kind of not a cross draw, but it was kind of on her left side.
Yeah.
To be able to access either from, I guess, left or right.
Yeah.
So
I usually when I see cops like whip out the taser, they usually do that whole like Bill Hickok cross draw thing and here it comes, ride the lightning. Oh, you can't say that anymore, by the way. Ride the lightning, bad term.
We'll cover that too.
Don't say that to second lieutenants. Yeah, dude, that's some really, really, really fucked up shit. So what's happened from there is Kim, right?
yeah,
Kim has lost her job,
Yep.
and
she technically she tried to resign.
She was
but-
going to lose anyways.
Yeah, but I don't know that they've, as of the time of the recording of this video, I don't know that they've actually accepted her resignation.
Yeah.
And there could be reasons for that. For example, if she resigns, then she might still be entitled to some of her pensions, retirement, stuff like that, versus if she is relieved of her duty due to, something malicious, then at
All
that
that
point,
forfeits.
yeah, she could forfeit all that.
wow.
So
It's a fucked situation. I mean, I get it. Yes, when you're in a stressful situation, you're under duress, you're scared for your life, stuff's going on, things happen really fast. But I mean, fuck, man. Especially somebody who's been on that long, you should know the difference. You should know where your gun is and where your taser is. I'm just gonna come out and say there's no excuse for it.
That's
yeah.
And it
gross
sucks for her
negligence.
because she's gonna have to live with that now too. And I want to address this too. I'm so sick of, certain groups who, I'll just say it. Some of the hardcore thin blue line, it doesn't matter what they do, they'll support them. That's just a dangerous attitude to have, period, with anyone in authority. Second, their whole, if he hadn't been, if he had complied, he wouldn't have done that. If he wasn't a criminal, he wouldn't have done that. Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, he was, and he did. And just because you're a criminal or you committed a crime or made a bad choice does not mean you deserve to die. Does not mean cops are judge, jury, and executioner. It was not an execution in this case. It was just a lapse of mind, and a bad decision was made. But stop with the whole fucking, you don't resist. Yeah, let's just keep complying. They're the same ones who say don't wear a mask, but then, comply this, don't comply with this. And, they'll have a thin blue line flag next to their don't tread on me flag.
So one of the things I think that is important as someone who trains cops, civilians, military, stuff like that, people don't remember, I think, or sometimes they think that officers have impunity when it comes to certain things. They're held to the same levels, basically, and then sometimes higher than a civilian carrying a gun is. So no different than I'm liable for the round that leaves my gun. She's liable for that, even though she didn't mean to, even though it might have been a complete accident, which we talked about the difference between an AD and an ND.
Yeah, and in this, they keep calling this this was not an accident.
No, it was a negligent discharge.
There was nothing accidental about this. Accidental is something mechanical in the side the firearm fails.
Right.
A safety fails. I've seen old shotguns where somebody goes to clear it and chamber it and it goes off.
Oh.
I mean, that is a true accidental
Say she had a
discharge.
SIG, knocked it out of it, and the guy knocked it out of her hand,
Fell
and
on
it
the
went
ground.
off and killed him. That's an accidental.
discharge.
The point this morning they had that a guy had to take a shit and dropped his pants, and his pistol fell out of his pants, hit the ground, went off and shot him in the leg. That
Accidental discharge.
that is an accidental discharge.
It's a mechanical failure versus a failure of the brain.
Yep.
And if you touch that trigger, even if you didn't think it was loaded, even if whatever, that is a negligent discharge.
100%. And
that's what she did. And so she's going to be, they've already filed, I think, second-degree manslaughter charges on her. And she's going to go down for something. And that's because just the same way that if you draw out your gun and you mean to shoot Chris, but you hit the person behind him,
that's my fault.
that's your fault. You're
again,
still going to have that.
What is the common thing between both scenarios that you just gave and what actually happened? What is the common denominator that could have prevented all that?
Training.
Exactly.
Training.
So if there is no who you are, what you do, if you carry a gun on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, hourly basis, fucking train. Whether you're a cop, whether you're a civilian, I don't give a fuck. Do you think Delta Force and CAG and DevGru are at the tier level they're at just because they can run really fast? No, it's because they fucking train on a daily basis. Those dudes shoot more rounds in 1 month than most police officer departments do in a lifetime.
Right.
And yeah, we get it. There's limited budgets and stuff like that, but go train on your own. The fact is there is too many police officers who think that their one time a year pathetic training course for firearms is enough. And I'm sorry, but if I'm going to have a job where, especially these days, people don't fucking like me and you're dealing with scumbags, I'm going to want to be as proficient with that sidearm as humanly possible.
And was it you, me, and TJ that went to Southern Missouri that one time and did the police competition shoot, or was that just me and TJ?
That was just you and TJ.
Yeah, I mean, it was like we had a great time. First off, the law enforcement shoot was a great time, but this was, I think, about 2 years ago, and like just some of the handguns that these guys brought that were not only their department issue handguns, but some of them had to bring their personal handguns because their department didn't have them.
which is a real thing.
Which
Yeah.
is a real
You get in
thing.
some of the rural areas in
Yeah.
Missouri out by the Ozarks.
It's where we were.
Yep.
This guy brought a Browning high power. I'm like, that's what you carry? He's like, yeah. I'm like, that's an excellent carry gun. Good job.
I got no beef with that.
But so you've touched
like-
on. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But yeah, like, I mean, they're just normal guys most of the time. And in their accuracy and their marksmanship is about on par with most people that shoot maybe once or twice a year.
And that's
Yeah,
not
they
all.
hit the
You
target,
get some
that's
who,
it.
we know some who are phenomenal fighters.
Oh, we
We've got
compete
some
with
great customers,
we compete with law enforcement guys that are just fucking top tier too.
But then we've also seen some where, oh, were you practicing with a shotgun? No, that's my pistol. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, fascinating.
25, 50 yards? No, it's 7.
Yeah. Nice grouping. Good.
Oh,
So in that same line, I saw somebody, a news reporter anchor, talking about, she should have known the difference because she's pulled her gun, she's used her gun thousands of times, and in my head I'm going, no, she probably hasn't. Like
she's carried it, though.
she's carried it, right? But a lot of people, and I'm glad cops aren't just smoking people every single day, and having to do that, but. That's one of the
Give
things.
it another month.
Right. I think that's one of the big things, and it frustrates me as somebody who is a civilian that carries a gun all the time. When somebody says, hey, I would take a cop, if a cop showed up, yeah, but I don't want you shooting that person because you might do this and that. When in reality, I shoot tens of thousands of more rounds a year and train hours upon hours more than the average person.
Yeah.
Because for most people, they forget that a police officer, that's one tool on the belt. They have a lot of tools on the belt. Just because you're a cop doesn't even mean you like guns. You might not even like guns at all. But it's just a necessary evil of the job. If you will.
I've literally had a female cop say, I don't even like carrying this. The only reason I do is I have to. They make me.
Yeah, I mean, we've had ATF's agents come in the store and tell us they don't even like firearms.
Right.
Yeah, that's most of
them.
Yeah. Or directors.
Oh, whatever. So moving on to the next story. You guys pretty sure we covered this whole thing?
Yeah, I'd say that's
I mean,
good.
she's gonna go down. She's wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
It
gonna
sucks.
happen.
It's a shitty situation. We're really sorry that it happened. First to the family. I mean, yeah, the kid might have been breaking the law, or he might have been fucking around, but he definitely didn't deserve to die that day.
No. Parents, parent your kid. Beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
No, don't actually beat the shit out of them, but
Which kind of leads to the next one.
yeah,
The Chicago.
don't let your kid go up to be a piece of shit, and this won't be an issue either.
Oh, well, thanks, Dave, for letting me know where the next way we're going. Here we go.
Slid that right
Just
in.
slid it right in. You're good.
That's what she
Call that a
said.
transition.
So the next article we got, and you guys can find most of these articles except the last one we're going to talk about on the blog, which is www.TacticalSht.com, which is different from the shop, which is shop.TacticalSht.com. Really hard to remember, I know. Gotcha.
Wow.
But this one is pretty recent. This is the Chicago police released the body cam footage, which we're not going to show because it's not in the article. But we do have the picture, which is, I think, the most important takeaway from the whole body cam footage. If you want to see the body cam footage, Google it. It's really easy to find. It's a guy getting out. It's a cop getting out of a car, running. The sound turns on. He's got a strobe light, and he shoots a kid. When he turns around, the kid puts his hands up. And basically, most of the videos you're going to find are going to stop right about this section. And then you'll find some pictures later. So to go over this one, just going to read you the description. Officer gets out of the car, shoves the guy to the ground.
They're responding to a call for shots fired.
Yeah, they responded to a shot watch call.
Multiple gunshots fired.
Yeah, a shot watch call. And shot watch, for those of you that aren't familiar with it, is a system in most large cities, St. Louis included, where if a gunshot goes off, it is a computer program that will triangulate the area where the gunshot is, how many shots there were, and it will help police narrow down if there's like an active shooter, gang warfare, some guy popping rounds off in the hood, something like that. It's a really cool program. Look into it.
They also had a 911 call on this one too.
And they had a 911 call on this. So in the point in the footage where everything usually stops is when the cop says to the kid who is running, who stops right next to the fence, and I blew it up. He stops right next to this fence. In this hand right here, he says, "Show me your hands." And when the cop says, "Show me your hands," there's a gun here. He throws it behind the fence, and then he puts his hands up, and the cop shoots him. You guys ready to talk about that one?
Yep.
Sure.
Let's go. Your thoughts.
Dave, I'll let you dive in because honestly, we talked about previous. You were pretty dead on.
So this is one of those where this is hindsight being 2020. So everybody looks at that and they see that picture, and yes, but if you watched,
It looks horrible.
If I only, yeah, it looks like my hands are up. The dude just blasts him. You know, please don't shoot me. Please don't shoot me. Bam. That's not what happened.
Nope.
This is one of those where a half a second either way, 4 or 5 tenths of a second in either direction might decide who goes home and who doesn't that day. And again, not saying, it's any individual one thing. It's a culmination of things. But what I saw is that if you watch that video at full speed, and you have to remember that this is the first time, this is happening real time. You don't get the chance to watch it 4, 5 to 6 times like we do. We don't get to pause it. He's seeing this. The guy goes and has his gun in the hand. He's running. The cop sees the gun. That's why he pushes the other guy down, because there was 2 of them. He pushes that guy down and goes after Adam. Toledo is the name of the kid. Goes after him because he's the one with the gun. The kid specifically keeps running until he sees the break in the fence. Mm-hmm. There's another angle. They found I watched a security cam
other
video.
side.
Yeah, security cam
Yeah,
footage.
from a school. And you can see that he clearly goes and he tosses it. Well, he does that purposefully. When he does, he tosses it and comes up and one. I don't have to. That was my headphones. Fuck those headphones.
Those are my headphones.
You're welcome. So people get misunderstood that I need to get up and squeeze out, take a breath. I can pop you from right here every bit as well, especially at this distance. So the officer had to make a snap judgment. He had to make that judgment. The kid's running. He's not complying. He's going. You've yet to listen to my orders. I've told you to show me your hands. And instead of putting the hands up, he turns towards the officer. The difference between here, that could be a threat, and here, milliseconds. And at that point, let's be honest, this cop's carrying probably a Glock or an M&P. He's already 3 or 4 pounds into this 5-6 pound trigger pull.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, at that point, you can't wait, because the option, and people are going to say, well, the cop should have saw his hands and waited. Possibly. The problem is at that point, if he waits that extra 0.2 of a second, he's gone, because that's the time that dude is now deploying his weapon.
I got this queued up right for you, Dave.
Okay.
I real quick wanted to find the actual, because
You're just trying to
I
let me
saw
put the
that.
headphones back on?
No, I saw that side by side real quick in a video
Yeah.
that I was watching earlier today, and I found it again. It's from the BBC News, and the audio is kind of fucky, but here is where we're talking, and there you can see right there that kid is throwing something behind that fence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here you see him pull his hands up. Kid gets shot right there.
But
Here,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Here you can see this back. This is the kids running, the cops running, and then we get a nice close up. Cops here, kids here. You can see the kid dipping and pitching a firearm. Right afterwards, police found the Glock. I think it's a Glock.
Something. Polymer
Something
gun.
right there. So anyway, continue, Dave. I'm sorry.
I want to get you guys' thoughts on this. Though my looking through the lens of, all right, what would you do in that situation? You don't really have much opportunity. You don't have much time. We're also looking at it from the angle. This camera's a wider angle, just like the one filming us. Like, it's a wider angle camera. It sees a wider field of view than your eyes do. Mm-hmm. And so people oftentimes, like, it's kind of like when you watch a GoPro video and it looks like something's forever far away. It's not. So it's dark. The lights are going. I also am not a giant fan of the fact that this dude's got a strobe on his gun.
Yeah, you can't see what the fuck you're doing with the
Yeah,
shit.
I mean,
You blind other people. And you
yeah,
also
I mean, people can argue the merits of it, but at least it's light. He had light on the gun.
Yeah.
But I don't think he had the time. Also, at that angle, you can't see until the kid turns. And at that point, and they pause it at this point, but at the point that the hands are coming up, that's the point that the shot started. I mean, he was committed to letting that round loose at that point, in my opinion. And so the round went. The fact that it went to here before you hear the audible bang, the bullet was probably there before the hands were even at that point. What do you guys think?
I think that's so he's a 13-year-old kid. And this
But he's five. That fence, it looks to be what, like 8 foot or so. I see other people standing next to 7 foot.
He's
every bit of 5'6", 5'7". He ain't a toddler.
He ain't a youngin'.
Right.
Yeah.
This is Chicago. We're responding to a shots fired. This kid knew he fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
He's running.
Cop sees the gun.
Cop sees the gun. Cop sees the kid running. I mean, that's a close call. You're gonna get to the point where, I mean,
But he didn't shoot him in the back. That's the other thing. If you want to go there, he could have. He could have
just laid him out when he was on the street.
Well, I'm saying while the dude's running, if that arm came back and that pistol came back, he could have done that. He waited until the
gave him
last
every
possible
chance.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Right.
If the kid really wanted to, he was more concerned about ditching that handgun than doing what he was being instructed to do.
Mm-hmm.
If he had really wanted to be smart, he knew he got at that point.
Yeah,
he
got
wasn't getting away with shit. You ditch behind the fence, think he didn't see that, you're gonna go look exactly what he did over there.
Yeah.
So what the best move would have been for him is to just drop it, put his hands up, open palm, and be slow. But like you said, that ditch and then that. If I have a gun on someone I know for a fact they have a gun and I see him do that, I'm gonna same thing.
You have to.
Well, let's
You have to.
this actually kind of jogged my memory a
What you
little
want
bit.
to.
Let's reminisce to our inner TJ. Remember the story TJ tells about that guy that he had in the prone position that reached behind him?
Yeah, the crazy dude.
And then he throws his hand up like this. And I mean, TJ didn't shoot him.
Yeah, nothing. He was just being crazy.
Yeah, he's just being a fucking crazy guy. So, I mean, is it suicide by cop?
I doubt
Not
so.
this one.
I think it was just a really scared kid, and now a cop's gonna have to live with the fact that whether right or wrong, he smoked a 13-year-old kid. That's gonna fucking suck.
Yeah.
All right. But so, and again, not to do what you said and not to vilify anybody, but even Lori Lightfoot, the mayor of Chicago, which I am not a fan of in any way, shape, or form, but she did make a point. She said, all of Chicago failed this kid. Why was this kid running around at 3 a.m.? Why was he with an adult? Why was he shooting off guns? And then why was he running from cops?
Yeah,
At
he
some
was
point,
with an adult. He was with a, 21-year-old
I guess.
guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, this is one of those where, again, if at any point in the situation something didn't happen, they wouldn't have got to that point. Could the officer have taken an extra half second? Yes. And at that point, kid would be alive. But if the kid was spinning on him, the cop would be dead.
I mean, when it comes down to it, anybody else in that position, at the end of the day, you're gonna make sure you go home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're seeing more of these situations. It's the old stacking tolerances. It's one thing compiled on another thing, compiled on another thing, and then all of a sudden the whole ship breaks down. And it's just a lot of little things add up to usually somebody dying, and that's what the issue is.
What's unfortunate here is it sucks for both sides. 13-year-old kid is dead, whether he's a scumbag or not. He's 13. He's a fucking child.
He might grow up he might grow out of it.
There's a dead kid now, and a cop who has to deal with the dead kid. And instead, the media is going to use this in an already volatile situation with what's going on currently. It's just going to add fuel to the fire. And it's sad because they're going to make the narrative and they're going to force it to go a certain direction.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like we're seeing a lot more articles that are more vilifying the police, even with the protests that are going on right now. Because I mean, it is riot season. Don't get it mixed. And the cops are coming out in force.
TJ can get a little frustrated with me at times because I'm not the world's biggest cop supporter. But I mean, when it comes down to it, yeah, people are angry, and there's a lot of situations such as the one with the taser where it's understandable why they're mad. Don't take some shit that unfortunately is what it is and try to twist it, though. I mean, when it comes down to it, I've had a firearm on me when I'm getting pulled over, and especially nowadays, hearing all the stories, I'll admit it. I'm definitely, my heart rate goes up a little bit more when I get pulled over now. I'm more cautious. I usually have a gun on me and at least a knife or something else. And yeah, I mean, I'm goddamn right. My hands are going to be like this. I don't make any quick movements. They ask for my license. Hey, I'm reaching to my right back pocket and I reach like that.
Super slow.
I'm not moving fast.
You know what else gets you not pulled over? Doing the speed limit.
Fuck that.
It's a speed suggestion, all right?
Yeah, fuck
Is
My
it the
taxes,
ones with the black lines around it?
Yeah.
Those are just the suggested speed limits, right?
They make signs?
Oh my God.
So here's what
Yeah,
we
they
were
do.
we were talking, and what Alex just said, I think, is one of the things that we've said is I get it. Sometimes cops are overreaching. Sometimes it's not the right person. It's an overstepping of whatever, and you get heated. You get pissed. You're mad. But the side of the road is not the place to have that argument. It's not the place to have that fight.
No.
The side of the road is not where I want to be. Where I want to be is Monday morning. I'll stand tall in front of a judge.
That's what lawyers are for.
Right.
man.
That's
Yeah.
what the lawyer's for. And find out and let it be known this person messed up or this was a mistake or whatever the case may be. Or maybe I was speeding or whatever the problem was. But it's when we want to, well, I know my rights and I'm just a traveler and I'm this and this and that and the third and I know I can do what I want.
Are you talking about road pirates?
Probably. But
Quick example. I'm not going to name what department because I don't need to add to that fire. I was straight up pulled over and the officer admitted to profiling me. He admitted that I was on a motorcycle. I had a vest on, saw certain things on my bike that got his attention, straight up said to me, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" I'm like, honestly, no. I was going the speed limit because I was getting ready to exit. I got nothing. I have no clue. And straight admitted to me, well, I'm just, you're on a motorcycle. You kind of fit the profile, and I wanted to just run your name, see if you had any warrants out for your arrest or any felonies. Straight admitted to me.
Right.
That is illegal. I mean, that's not okay. That's profiling, and he had no reasonable cause to pull me over or anything.
It says I love tacos on the back of your motorcycle.
I know, man.
What the fuck? You should switch it to donuts.
Right. Well, so
But did I get an attitude with him? I wanted to. I'll admit it. I was fucking heated. I was real heated when he admitted that. But am I going to rip him a new one and start getting aggressive? No, because I'm not about to escalate a situation. This dude already admitted to me he was willing to break the rules to pull me over.
right.
He's probably gonna smoke check it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to see how
Right.
how
far this
bad
is
can
gonna
I
go.
make this? Did I do anything about it? No, and that's on me. Should I have? Probably, because letting people get away with shit like that is exactly why there is continual overreach and abuse of power. But
Now, can I play devil's advocate on
Yeah,
that real quick?
yeah.
So, and I sit in similar positions on many things, but one of the things that I think happens, it's just like the gun control thing. So they go, oh my gosh, 14,000 people were killed with firearms. How many people were saved with firearms?
Yeah.
So how many times do you have a good interaction with a cop? It doesn't make the news. It doesn't get reported. So there are a lot of good situations. Two. Okay. So
I've had two good ones where genuinely impressed. I don't know if it's me, luck of the draw, or what. By the way, I am aware that I do somewhat look like a fucking scumbag.
well, I mean, you got hand tattoos, a big ass beard, whatever.
But I mean, when it comes down to it, innocent until proven guilty.
True.
And I'll admit, I've had a few interactions.
Happens.
I always, save one. There's one time I got an attitude. But past that, I have always been as respectful as humanly possible. Yes, sir, no problem. Yes, complied, done everything I was asked. And I can honestly say, out of all those, it's been two, maybe three positive interactions. And not, I'll admit, yeah, when I'm speeding, I'm fucked up. I deserve this. But the attitude I've received, the me giving respect and not getting treated equal at all and talked to like shit is not appreciated. It is kind of bullshit. Yeah. So, I mean, and for other people, I know people who have never had a bad experience in their life.
Sure.
I'm just a lucky person where I've had 2 or 3 decent ones. I've had 1 or 2 where they've been genuinely cool.
Yeah.
My 78-year-old mother gets out of every ticket she's ever gotten.
No one could ever pull your mom over and write her a ticket.
I know. It's just,
You would feel like the biggest piece of shit on the planet.
I've had to go. I can say that I've had quite a few interactions. I think in in 2013, I think I received a dozen. I received 12 tickets that year. And I was like, let's make it a baker's dozen.
Damn.
That's not how many times I got pulled over. That's how many times I got a ticket out of it. So, and I probably only got a ticket 1 out of 100 times. So anyway, so I'm very familiar, and I've had it go both ways. I've had where I'm trying to do everything the right way, and the officer is, I put my hands on the door, why are you doing that? Just making sure you're safe, I'm safe, and you're throwing something away. I'm trying to be accusatory, stuff like that. But I've had it go the other way too, where maybe a cop was like, if I really wanted to, I could probably do this and it would stick, but I'm not gonna, because you're being cool, being respectful, everything like that. One of the things that I see though, you mentioned the media, and maybe this needs to be its own podcast type thing, but I'm seeing where everybody wants to get incendiary towards the cops. We don't want policing. We don't want policing. Guys like us are the ones that don't. We can do without the policing. Then I can drive 100 miles an hour, and if you try to break into my house, I can handle it.
Yeah,
I'd rather not, though.
But
Just saying, I'd rather not. I'd rather have the cops shoot the bad
no,
guy.
but what I'm saying is that if you took everything away, if you said, hey, cops are the problem, because obviously cops are just the biggest cause of death amongst everybody, is what people are acting like. So, but what a lot of folks don't understand is if the media is pushing that narrative, do you guys think that there's any merit to the fact that they want that, so that then if you remove the police, now things go into anarchy, things go into issues, and then now you need big daddy government or, to come in and go, here, we'll fix it all, and we'll give you that safety security. Because the people who are calling for the defunding police, when they do that, they realize real quick, oh, shit, we might need more cops. I think the answer
We don't fucked up, Aaron.
Exactly. Because you can take that away. I don't need to call the police when somebody comes in. I'll handle that. But you also have to untie my hands. You can't take my guns away and take the cops away. And then what? I'm just supposed to be defenseless to let you run your... I feel like that's been done in history before, once or twice.
A couple times.
Just comments.
One last thing I'll add too, though, that just kind of reminded me. On the other hand, when you're about that life and you're doing that gangster shit,
You're about that life.
you're about that life. If you go out that way, then you go out that way, man. I mean, if you're going to play that shit, then be about it. Don't be about it till you get got.
Right.
Yeah.
And then be a bitch about it. If you're going to be, respect to it for the fact of not what they do, but if you're about it and you're that convicted to be about it and you stick with it, at least you stick with it, you're convicted enough, whether right or wrong. But, man, this shit where they want to play gangster, but then the second somebody gets shot over it, they want to, he was a good boy, he didn't deserve it. No, he did. He was a fucking gangbanger. Don't church it up. Now, if it was done dirty like the taser thing, that sucks. That's unfortunate. He should have made it to trial and done his time in jail. But I mean, if you're out there blasting somebody on the block and you run and you turn around with the gun and get blasted, don't fucking church that.
Stupid
out.
game, stupid prize.
Yeah, it's the way it is, because it's not just a cop.
Right.
You do that to a civilian, you run up on somebody and put a gun to somebody's head, then when you get smoke checked, don't get pissed.
I mean, stealing. Let's talk about people that are about that life. Stealing cigarillos from gas stations, floating fake $20 bills is probably gonna get you fucked up by the cops.
Yeah. But Joey just brought in a video earlier of some dude was getting into his car, and two dudes run up. One of them has a gun, puts it to his head. I couldn't hear what he was saying. And you hear the guy go, "Are you fucking serious?" And he does some ninja shit, disarms this dude, knocks the gun out of his hand, whips him around, puts him in a headlock, starts beating the
slams
fuck
the shit
out
out
of
him.
him. Then, straight fucking
he
WWE
dumps him.
style.
He dumps him good.
Dumps his ass into the pavement and gets on him. And you hear this dude go from straight gangster, give me your shit, to screaming like
You know
a
what the
bitch.
best part is? The guy that was originally the victim is probably going to catch an assault and battery charge. Probably 1,
Sadly,
2,
you're probably
3.
right.
Yeah.
Aggravated assault, aggravated battery. Because that's how shit goes down. Like you guys are saying, defund the police. I can handle myself. I would rather not handle myself, because as soon as I drop some motherfucker that comes in my front door, I got to go to court. I'm going to get sued by his family. I'm going to get sued by his family's family. I'm going to have to deal.
Even if
they're
you
not
were
going to clean the blood off my
completely
carpet.
fine with criminal charges and you're not going to jail, That doesn't mean you're not going to get butt fucked by the court system and lose every penny to your name.
Well, and
that's why I have USCCA. You know, most of us here that carry have USCCA. They don't sponsor us. They probably should. We sponsored them at one point in time. That was fun. But yeah, get USCCA. Get some kind of carry insurance because they're gonna help fight that battle if you do have to pull on somebody. For sure.
But that's my point, is that you can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
And my point to that also is that it's fine for us because we are able-ish bodied.
At least we think we are.
Right.
We don't know.
Able-ish bodied. We are able-ish. We are moderately to advancedly trained and equipped and whatnot. But there's a lot of people who aren't. So the people who, it's the whole thing, it can come down to the same thing with the guns themselves, with the whole gun control debate. Because in a fight, if it's just nothing but bare hands, if we remove everything that could be a weapon, a dude who's 6'5", 300 pounds he can have complete control over a 4'8" female. Like there is no world in which she has any chance of him not imposing his will. All of a sudden we bring out that gun, it's an equalizer. Well, the law is also that equalizer.
As Sam Colt said, guns make everyone equal.
Yeah.
So to not to get off on our soapbox of why firearms are cool and stuff, let's move on to our third and final story.
It's the newest one.
This is the newest one, and it's also going to be the one that there's the least a bit of information out about. And I have a feeling it's going to get even sparser throughout. So this is Brandon, and you see a
school shootery at
a
all.
little school shootery kid and a FedEx thing. Maybe some of you might not know, but there was a quote-unquote mass shooting at a FedEx department. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so TJ spun me up on this. We got some inside information,
insider information.
Unconfirmed anonymous information from someone who may or may not have been in or around the scene.
It's all a pack of lies.
So 15 people were shot total. 8 were killed. The shooter was a former employee. And most recent I saw in this article, actually, that you had pulled up, it was of 2020. Here's where it gets spicy. He was well known for being violent, making violent threats, threatening people at that place. They haven't released why he was fired from FedEx, but one could venture to guess probably similar situation.
It was not for his ability to grow facial hair.
No, and
because he can't. He's a baby face.
God damn. I'll pull it up on my phone. 19 years old. Let's see.
He died on the scene. Self-inflicted gunshot wound. And former employee, 2020, fired from the FedEx family. Broke out in the parking lot and the facility. So did it... And we were trying to figure out if it started in the parking lot, then went inside.
So he indiscriminately started firing in the parking lot as he moved inside. So here we go. Authorities were warned about him and his potential for violence in the past. The suspect in Indianapolis mass shooting was known to federal and local authorities prior to the attack. Family members had reached out to the authorities of his potential for violence, according to 3 law enforcement sources briefed on the matter. His mother told police that they were worried he might try to commit suicide by cop all the way back in March of 2020.
Are we building a case for red flag laws? That sounds really strange.
No, this is simply the fact that if there is a pattern of behavior, March 2020 was when this was reported. It's 2020 when he was fired by FedEx. He was arrested on March 3rd when police were dispatched to his house. They seized his shotgun. It was a 410. I don't know what you're going to do with that.
Shoot squirrels.
Yeah.
Nice one.
And a behavioral health unit did detention on him. He had voiced suicide as well as bought a firearm. So, I mean, and then it goes on and on that there is more issues that...
How is he not judgmentally... how is he not adjudicated mentally deficient to own a firearm?
Right.
Mentally not... whatever. You know what I'm saying.
Mentally defective. So I think that's an important point, Chris, because you said, hey, are we advocating for red flag laws? The difference is there was a lot of evidence here. The difference between a red flag law and what should have happened here is that red flag says you call the cops on me because you don't like me or something's wrong or I pissed you off. I mowed my grass too early in the morning. It woke you up.
This wasn't Skyler, his neighbor, calling the cops because they saw a scary gun loaded into his car when he was going to the range.
And so in the red flag laws, then they could come confiscate my shit. Then later, maybe some weeks or months later, once the court system, I have my day, then I get to maybe profess my innocence and then get my stuff back. What we're saying is if all these behaviors have happened, those investigations should happen. And then at that point, now you can impose the, hey, you no longer have this, this is no longer acceptable.
I was always kind of under the opinion, or I was always under the impression, not the opinion, that once you went to a mental facility for behavior, that meant that you were found in a court. Because if the judge makes you go,
if they determine, and from what I understand,
it depends on violence and stuff like that.
Yeah,
this kid sounds like it was a violence thing.
It does, and it's from my understanding. Again, if somebody is a professional or an expert on this, hit us up, let us know the rules and how this works.
Too. Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure the way it happens is a doctor has to recommend it. It goes before a court. They have to show the evidence that, hey, doctors have confirmed this guy should not, he is a danger to himself, his family, and people around him, should not have firearms, shouldn't be in possession, probably needs to be in inpatient treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Then the judge signs off on it and it gets reported to the authorities, the FBI and such, which that
sounds like a whole lot of hoops to jump through.
Yeah, it's not as simple. Your neighbor calls and says, hey, so-and-so act crazy and threaten the government. And the cops show up and take all your guns and arrest you without anything. No, there is a pattern going on.
Due process.
So why are we doing all this bullshit with the red flag laws, and we're not putting more time and investing time in figuring out how to stop people like this kid,
mental health too,
from going on shooting sprees?
Yeah, well, and obviously the existing laws and everything that are there did nothing to prevent this. I mean, it should have.
Yeah,
well,
when
Chicago,
FBI
there's no guns
was already
in Chicago.
involved.
When they called the 4473, it should have lit his ass up. He should have never had the pass.
I've seen people not be able to get a firearm because they have back child support payments.
Sure.
That's one reason you can't own a firearm.
Yeah. One of the things that really blew my mind more than anything.
How's this kid get one?
Of why I've even believed that most felons should be able to own firearms.
Okay.
Get lit the fuck up for that. I had a customer, or wannabe customer, at a prior place I worked, call in, wanted to know if he could buy a gun, but he didn't know if his felony was still on. Long story short, this guy was in his 60s. He was a successful business owner. He was a good guy in his community. Back in 1967, he got busted with, as he told me over the phone, a lot of weed. And went to prison for it.
Not a good time to be busted with weed in the 60s.
No.
Right.
And he did some time for it.
Yeah.
And because of one dumb choice, 50 years ago plus, he is now a successful business owner. He owned apartments in North St. Louis. And he is not from this area. He's from out of state. He thought it was a great investment. Then he found out what part of North St. Louis they were on, realized it is not a safe area. Not a problem. This dude is literally walking around with a cap and ball revolver. He has been shot at. His car has been shot up.
Like a Colt Navy?
Yes.
Like Black
because
Powder,
that is all he can have. This
Actually, I don't even know if he can have that.
This
Yeah,
guy,
yeah,
who
those aren't-
probably is a law-abiding citizen, save one stupid choice that isn't even that big of a deal anymore, 60 years ago, can no longer own a firearm and defend himself or his family or his business.
I got a quick one. I'll top you real fast on that. Not to one up, but I've got an acquaintance, a friend that this dude was a veteran, served, combat vet, 20 years old, 20 or 21 years old, was in a club. Someone gave him ecstasy. Didn't even have a single pill on him, but it was in his bloodstream. They took him to the station, pulled his blood, and it was in a state out east that will not expunge. So he can't own firearms to this day, 20 years later, because of he didn't even get caught with anything. He just had something in his system.
It
And
could have
that's
been
enough.
slipped to him.
Yeah, that he could have been slipped, it could have been whatever, and I don't even remember if he said he even did anything or not. And he's a good dude, responsible, pays his taxes, does all stuff, but he forever will not have that ability because that state doesn't expunge stuff. So we can look at what would change that. I think to jump back on this Indianapolis case, I found something that I want to address and I want to ask. I saw one report where someone was interviewed and they said someone else, not the shooter, went to their trunk to retrieve a firearm.
Yeah. I've seen that in 2 different reports now.
So what if the hypothesis, I'm just guessing, but what if there's a hypothesis of this dude's Billy Badass, bang, 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 knows that nobody can carry a gun, because I'm sure FedEx
has a no firing policy.
Yeah, they have no firing policy. He knows that. He worked there.
So does Amazon.
And so then he goes there, and he's doing his thing, and somebody goes, not today, and they go to their trunk. All of a sudden, he's met with, what's that? What do they call that? Oh, the good guy with the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. And so all of a sudden, this dude maybe pops around. Maybe doesn't hit the dude, but he pops around or two. And this is what happens in so many of these fucking school shooting type kid things, is that the moment that they're faced with anything, they're scared of, they don't want to get hit and get hurt and bleed and be in pain. So the moment that there's any opposition, they schwack themselves.
Like a old bitch.
Yeah.
Right. And so it makes me wonder, are we ever going to hear about, though? Because that doesn't feed the narrative.
And another thing you guys were talking about earlier, and I don't know how farther we can go into this. We're already at 50 minutes, so we only have about
Let's wrap it up. Yeah.
5 minutes left to top this off. But how fast is this one going to be pushed out of the news and the media light? Because we were talking.
They're saying it was a scary machine gun-like gun, so
Yeah.
sadly probably an AR.
AR-15, yeah.
And he was a white kid, so they'll probably keep this one around.
You don't think FedEx is going to try to...
So that is one thing TJ warned, is there is a good chance that because it was reported to FedEx apparently many times, other employees also, again unconfirmed, somebody might have been, the manager there might have been fucking his girlfriend. Don't know if that's legit or
Might
not.
have been stooping his girl.
Yeah, so that could have played into it as well, slightly. No idea if that's true or not. Again, that's unconfirmed information, but it is from a, sounds like, pretty accurate source, and some of the info that I was told earlier today is now coming out this evening,
Just recently,
and is true. So so far, shit does line up to be accurate.
Now, here's what I think's weird, and maybe it's because I'm old, but so we used to have a term for this one. It was called going postal. This is the classic, what they call going postal. Somebody goes because of a lover's quarrel, because of and he goes to his job that he was fired from and shoots the boss and the ex-girlfriend and everything like that. It's kind of a classic one. It's less, I don't know, it's less.
It's more like going federal.
Diet falling down.
Yeah, something
Not
like
quite full falling
If
down.
it happened at UPS, it would be going parcel. Because it's United Parcel Service.
Did
could
you
do this
just
all
do
day.
an active shooter dad joke?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Welcome.
We apologize.
I
Just
don't
know
care.
that the words of the one in blue don't reflect necessarily the viewpoints of everybody in this.
Yeah, but I edit the videos, so fuck off.
Oh, shit.
All right, guys, let's round it up. Say your goodbyes. Say your final thoughts. What do you guys got?
I think we solved world peace and crime by just saying more people should carry guns.
Be
and
the
if you
good
carry
guy
a gun,
with the gun.
Yeah.
Train.
Yeah, train.
Yeah.
And if you're an officer, here's what sucks for them. And I am going to give just 30 seconds of something that I feel bad about sometimes. They don't get enough training from the department.
No.
They get some. And then people are like, well, seek it out on your own. Training costs money. Ammo costs money. Things cost money. Cops don't necessarily, some cities they do really well, but a lot of cities they don't do amazingly well. And they're just like everybody else. They got kids that need braces. They can't go buy $10,000 worth of training a year and whatever. So we need to offer more things. If we expect more of them, then we need to give them more resources, not defund.
I'm going to piss a lot of people off with this one. Yeah. Take some of the budget from the firefighters' sleep number mattresses, take that money and transfer it over so the cops can actually get more than like 2 magazines a year's worth of shooting done. You can get one of the knockoff sleep mattress beds. They're almost as good.
Listen, I don't mean to throw stones either, but I can do your job at my house with a fucking garden hose. So
I didn't say that. If my shit's on fire, please come help me out.
Yeah, no.
I'm just kidding.
My name's
Chris,
Dave.
I'm kidding.
I've seen you sweat throwing from your truck to your office.
That's
There's
why
no way you're
that's
gonna
why I
put
can put
a
out fires, because I got moisture
Hey,
on me all the time.
I'm apologizing ahead of time if you got to carry my big ass. Like, I'm sorry.
Oh,
like,
I
I'm
didn't
sorry.
think about that.
Right.
I'm sorry, we're gonna have to cut
Never
the
mind.
wall of my house
You
open
guys
to
need
get me
them
out.
sleep number mattresses.
Right. Yeah, I want you to be arrested, boo, and I want you to eat something good, get you a good meal.
Make sure the truck runs. It's
Yeah,
got
I'm
the diesel in
Stay
it.
up in that gym.
Right.
You're going to need it.
Jesus. Oh, God.
Don't skip like
Yeah.
God, we've really gone off the rails.
And this is a good spot to end.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for sticking
Take it easy, guys.
sticking with all this crazy shit that's going on in the news.
I'm sure there'll be more.
Remember, it is riot season, so
It is.
please keep your head on the swivel. Please be safe out there. Don't be too quick to anger. Keep a cool head, because
Don't be a dick.
the
Yeah.
last thing we need
Don't be a
is
dick.
a good guy with a gun turned into a bad guy with a gun, which can happen very quickly. So you guys have a great rest of your day. Make sure to tell us how much of an asshole I am in the comments, how intelligent these two are over here. And let us know if you know anything about the, what was it, red flag laws and
Yeah, and how that
deficient.
whole system works
Yeah.
with somebody being declared mentally deficient and getting adjudicated, no longer being able to have firearms. Because I admittedly, I've not looked
None
that
of us
deep
know.
into it.
Yeah,
I don't
'cause
know
none of
all
us have
this
had
stuff.
the problem.
It is
So-
state specific. So maybe
Yeah.
somebody can, tell us what your state has. So.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you guys, and we will see you later. Deuces.
Adios.